Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I built a couple quick houses in N-scale. These are for our Model Railroad Club's N-scale layout. Usually when I build N-scale kits, I like to build Mud Creek models. They're my favorite. But we needed a couple houses, and I found this 2-in-1 from Laser Art at a train show for an incredible price, so I couldn't pass it up. Now this has two houses in one box. This one's called the Stanley, and this one's called the Thma. I'm not sure where they came up with the names from, but we're going to start with the Stanley. First thing I did was I sponged on a mixture of a light blue and a bluish white. Then I used a cream color for all of the trim and I sponged that on. Then I went ahead and sponged a red onto the foundation that comes with the kit. I also sponged the white onto all the trim pieces that came with it. After I put the four walls together, I went over my paint with a driftwood Hunterline stain. Then I started putting the windows together, and I used a liquid PSA to hold them in place. Next I started on the porch. I got all my pieces together and glued them in place using canopy glue. I put a stain on the decking on the porch. Then I put on all of the roofing panels. Now, I didn't like the shingles that came in the kit, so I had some left over from Rags Roofing. I colored those with Copic markers and set them aside to put them on later. I added a little bit of extra trim to the building because I felt it needed some. I just used scale 2x2 for this. Then after I glued on the shingles, I painted and weathered the chimney, cut a hole for it, and then I was done with that one. I moved on to the Thma. This one had a little different construction. First thing I did was put the walls together. But it had that area that goes in. I had to use a little bit of extra bracing to hold everything together there. Then once the building was glued together, I first put a coating of murky brown on it. Then after that was dry, I sponged on some parchment paint. I let that dry and then went over the whole thing with a driftwood stain. And this gave a good look of peeling and worn paint. Next I cut out all of my windows and doors and trim. And I used some masking tape to hold them onto a piece of cardboard while I airbrushed them with a burnt umber. And I also wanted to add a few pieces of trim, so I took some strip wood and put some burnt umber on that as well. Then I went ahead and glued all of the windows and doors in place. And I glued the rear roof onto the building. I didn't want to put the front roof on until I was done with the porch. So I started gluing all of the porch pieces in place. Then while that was drying, I went ahead and stained the decking underneath the front porch. Then I glued the front roof on and I let it dry with a weight on it. I didn't like the foundation that came with this kit, so I had some rock imprinted paper and I put that on as a foundation. And since I didn't like the kit's shingles, I went ahead and used some Bar Mills cedar shaked style. And I started gluing those in place. When I got to the back roof, I cut another hole and put in a chimney just like I did on the Stanley. And then this one was done. And this shows how they came out. This one's the Stanley. I think these were some of the earlier kits from Laser Art. The laser cutting wasn't quite as sharp as some of their later kits, but I still managed to get them together. And this shows how the Thma came out. I think adding a couple of my details, such as the shingles and some of the trim, helped them a lot. But they're going to look good on our N-scale layout. And I want to thank you for watching and hope you come back.